Lord. Okay. Hey, y'all. So, real quick, there was a lawyer on Sherelle's World's Live today, and he was going over some information for an arrest that happened years ago for A. Martel Whheeewww. And he wasn't specifically trying to say, like, implicate the Martel from Love and Marriage Huntsville, because he wasn't sure if that was the same guy. So he was going over the charge, the conviction, and the resolution of it. What happened after he went to court, he went to trial or whatever. So we all know that that is the same Martel that he's speaking of. We've heard about this case. Martel, his uncle, I think two of his uncles, I'm not sure, I'm just gonna say Martel and a couple of his family members tried to steal an ATM machine. He was convicted. He was placed on probation. He did his time. Well, he did the whatever he had to do for the sentence of being convicted. He did that and he got pardoned. So everything that Martel said on that live with Ariane is a complete lie. And this is something that we all knew. So when Martel, let's just say on that live he did with Ariane, he was ahead of the game. Let's just say, he was already like up, with people not believing that he attacked her or he did whatever he did to her, whatever. We can just leave it alone. He went ahead and stuck his foot in his mouth by saying, I wasn't arrested that night. I've never been arrested. I've never been convicted. I've never been this. I've never been that. And then here comes this lawyer with public information saying that he was arrested. Not only was he arrested, he was convicted. He was placed on probation. He did he completed his sentence, and then he was pardoned. And when he was pardoned, that restored his rights. However, it did not get rid of the conviction, because then he would have had to have it expunged. Now, there was someone on the in the chat saying this could ruin this man's reputation, and then there was another member saying, but he's a contractor because he was convicted of having been in possession of burglary tools. And the guy was explaining that it could be like a wrench, screwdriver, some things that you use to burglarize places or things. And they was like, well, he was a contractor. Baby, he was not a contractor then. And the thing about it is, those tools that he was in his possession, he was convicted of it because of the crime that was committed. They were trying to steal an ATM machine. Like, it just be the ignorance of people for me. Like, it was just kind of ignorant for you to ask, well, he was a contractor. He's a contractor now, or when he came on television. But at that time, he was not a contractor. And if that was the case, then maybe he could have argued his point. Those were the tools I used for work. He couldn't argue that point because that was not his field. That was not his profession at the time. And someone else stated this could ruin this man's reputation. Well, if you go back and you listen to lives that his mistress made, if you listen to the statements that he made himself, his actions, his behavior, that should ruin his reputation. You can't ruin somebody's reputations with their own actions. This is something that he did himself. So if his reputation is ruined, the reputation that you guys have, that you think of him, that the perception that you have of him, if that is ruined in your eyes because of something that he did, isn't that what happens when you do something wrong? You have to suffer the consequences of it. So because you look at him a certain type of way, we can't speak on the things that he's done, that he's denying, that you can prove because it's public record. This is why people have a hard time taking accountability and accepting the wrong that they do, because there are people like the people that was in Sherelle's chat coming with different reasonings and different excuses on why you shouldn't speak on certain things. That's what happens in a lot of families when they go to sweep it under the rug. We don't speak of this in public. We don't talk about this. No, he's on TV for a reason. He's a public figure. He's a celebrity. This is what happens when you get in this business. So that's why it's best to be honest and straightforward. Then again, like Melody, people want to hate on her so much, but she's been an open book. Now, the only thing that I would say that Melody has lied about, which was crazy, because baby, she should just owned up to it, was on that reunion when she said she couldn't remember whether she gave that man fellatio or not. Baby girl, we know you did it. Don't be ashamed to say you did it, because your husband was doing it. It is what it is. She should have owned up to that. But aside from that, everything that Melody has been saying to us and everything she's been giving us has been real. It's been authentic. She's been transparent. She's been open and honest. And that is what makes a good reality star. Martell is putting on a facade. He's a wolf in sheep clothing. Like, Martell is not being his authentic self. He's not being honest. He's not being transparent. And guess what happened when you get in situations like this, when a lot of people dislike you? You get outed. You get exposed. And then your world comes tumbling down. But whose fault is that? It just baffles me that people want to blame everybody else for Martell's actions and Martell's doing, for Ariane's actions and Ariane's doing. If they could just accept accountability, if they could just be honest and straightforward and say, hey, I did this. Hey, I did that. But that's not me anymore. I don't do that anymore. I don't live like that anymore. Just be honest. But when you lie, it makes people dig. It makes people want to find things out. It makes people want to expose you because you're a liar. I'm not sure what about that people don't understand, and what about that they don't get. When he sat on that live for me and he said, I've never been arrested. I've never been convicted of anything. Boom. At that point, I didn't even care what happened with him and Ariane, because I knew, like, hey, this isn't, now you're lying. You have been arrested. You have been, but I couldn't, because I really didn't even do that much digging. But what I'm going to do in the wake of the new season of Love and Marriage Huntsville, I'm going to dig up all the lives from Ariane, her interviews, official and unofficial, and I'm going to break down those lives and those interviews, just so people can see what I see, just so people can understand, you know, where I'm coming from and my stance. And it's all because they lie so much. Like, if it was me and I had this dirt out here, it ain't no way I'd be sitting up here lying about it. I just go ahead and tell the truth. Because when you put the truth out there and you put your own truth out there, there's nothing people have after that. They can't beat you down with the truth when you accept it and you stand up in your ish. Stand in your ish. You did it. It's done. He could have easily said, that was my past. I did it 10, 15 years ago. That ain't me no more. I'm not that man anymore. I didn't do this to her. That didn't happen. And then it would have been nothing. It wouldn't have been a discussion, because he would have owned it. But he can't do that. Like Ariane can't do that. Another reason why they are made for each other. They're cowards. But wait for my next video on those two when I do my full breakdown. It is coming within the next couple of days. I'm going to have to sit down and take some time with this, but I'm going to get it done. I promise you. And I'm going to bring it to you. It's going to be full of detail and receipts to back up everything that I say. So until the next time, you guys, be easy. Bye.